When we talk about a relationship standpoint, I think the biggest thing with our customers is we have to be the experts along with them. I think at the end of the day, our customers don't want a vendor, they want a partner. And that's what Polo does. We work to ensure that we understand their industry, the risks involved in the products that we manufacture and design for them. We have to entertain all of those things, and we build that trust with them. We try to be experts alongside of them, but it's that collaborative effort on both sides that make it successful. I think building those relationships are very important, and they start from the beginning of the project and you build them all the way through. And I think that's why we have so many repeat customers and repeat projects with the same customers.
Lynn Lemke, it's great to have you back on the podcast.
It's good to be back.
One of a few returning guests that we've had. So
no pressure.
Yeah. I think you're in the ranks of Kent Lammers and Brian Weber. So thank you for coming back. Yeah, it's good to have you on.
Thank you.
I like to do something a little informal, throw a curveball just to start it off.
Okay.
And so for you, I was thinking it'd be a great opportunity to brag on your daughter and her most recent achievement, the champion that's walking around in your household.
Yes. So historical moment for her and her team. So Washburn Rural High School, the girls had never brought home a championship, and they did so a couple weeks ago. And she had a good part of that success. She, as a goalkeeper, she was able to stop some of those penalty kicks, and we were able to make our penalty kicks. So it was exciting, nerve-wracking all at the same time, but so excited and happy for the Washburn Rural girls soccer team making history. Go girls. Yep. So very exciting.
Awesome.
So yeah. So she's been walking around with her medal, throwing it around, saying the champ's hungry. The champ's got to go to work. Yes. Yeah.
She's not normally like that either.
No.
Is she?
No. And it's only in the privacy of our home that she does that. She doesn't walk around, her job or anything like that. But
doesn't
she's
wear the medal to work.
As far as I know, maybe it's underneath her uniform. Not really sure, but so happy for them in the program. Such a great coaching staff too. So
very cool.
Really,
amazing
really
accomplishment. Something
Thank you.
That is a huge deal for Topeka.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. That's another good point, is that it's the first time that a non-Kansas City school has won. So hope it's first of many.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Starting a trend.
Yep.
Yeah, she broke the glass ceiling for
sure
for Washburn Rural. So.
Yeah, they all did. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, very exciting, and we're excited to have you here. And the next part, we'll transition into our first question, which is the fact that you have been with Polo for 8 years, and that is something that I am incredibly grateful for in my role. And I wish we could have 3 or 4 Lynn Lemkes in the Polo sales department.
I don't know if you'd want that.
That would be dangerous.
I don't think my family would want that either. Just kidding.
There'd be a lot of energy in the office, and so you do bring a lot of passion to your work. What is it about your job, over 8 years that makes you keep coming back and gets you excited about every day?
I think it's because Polo does a lot of things right. And I don't just mean for our customers, but for their employees. And one of the things that they do that I'm very attracted to is that they allow us opportunities outside of our job responsibilities to participate in what I'll call extracurricular activities. And what I mean by that is, obviously my job is very rewarding, right? Every day I'm working with new customers, new projects, and so that's super exciting. And as a forever learner, that's something that I really enjoy and need. But outside of that job, the other part that round out what we do, I'm able to serve on different committees that we have at Polo that are very near and dear to me, like the contributions committee, being a mentor in the mentor program and helping newer team members acclimate to Polo and help them be successful. those things, in addition to having an awesome job that specifically in medical, where we manufacture products to help people, it's the win-win all around for me. Yep, it's been 8 years and it's been an amazing 8 years, and I look forward to way more in the future. But having, I think, a well-balanced approach for me personally is important. And so I think that's what keeps me excited every day. Not just the job, but the people I get to work with and the types of things that we get to do outside of the office.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. And I know there's a lot of organizations in Topeka that you've gotten to work with and make a difference at, and support in volunteer ways and sponsorship ways. And
yeah,
so,
and I think that really starts at the top, right? We're an organization that looks to give back in the community. You know, you think about Meals on Wheels, volunteering at Harvesters, the Ronald McDonald House. That's just to name a few.
Yeah.
We really get out into the community to help where we can, and really not looking for any return. You know, I think one of the things we talked about is like all of our customers are not here at all. I mean, there aren't any. So what we do in the community is purely to help the community. And I think that's really important. And I think that sends the right message to our employees and to the community that we serve.
Right. Right. And our ownership, you know, cares a lot, and they started an independent school in the community. The Kansas Children's Discovery, they played a big role, center in, and so just amazing gems in the Topeka community that have come from Polo Custom Products. And
they're consistent. Yes. And so I'm proud to be a part of that.
For sure. 100%. So in manufacturing, obviously we've got customers, we've got, you know, project launch dates, you know, they've got plans and timelines that we're always working to hit, and we're developing products with, you know, large teams of smart people and launching them. And so how do you go about building meaningful relationships as you're working in this highly collaborative, fast moving environment to put products into the world?
That's a great question. And when we talk about a relationship standpoint, I think the biggest thing with our customers is we have to be the experts along with them. I think at the end of the day, our customers don't want a vendor, they want a partner. And that's what Polo does. We work to ensure that we understand their industry, the risks involved in the products that we manufacture and design for them. We have to entertain all of those things, and we build that trust with them. We try to be experts alongside of them, but it's that collaborative effort on both sides that make it successful. I think building those relationships are very important, and they start from the beginning of the project and you build them all the way through. And I think that's why we have so many repeat customers and repeat projects with the same customers.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's an important point. And, you know, we've talked about early bad news is good news. We've talked about, you know, we were on a visit with potential customer, and they were talking about suppliers basically that said, yes, we can do it. And then, you know, when the delivery date came around, they fessed up to the fact that they're not going to be able to deliver, and they didn't communicate any challenges along the way. And I think, you know, I've seen you work with customers to develop that trust and to troubleshoot problems as they're coming up with the customer, which there inevitably are going to be. I mean, I'd love to say that, you know, you come to work with Polo Custom Products and there's nothing bad will happen and it's smooth sailing. And, you know, there's so many different factors that come into a custom manufacturing product with suppliers and shipping times and tariffs and you name it. So I think that's what that communication is so important, and you do a really great job at it. You've seen a lot of changes in the medical industry and the power sports industry. What has been some of the biggest changes that you've seen in custom manufacturing over the years that you've been working at Polo?
I can say there's one common thread between both the medical space and the power sports industry, and that is clearly the critical speed to market. It keeps getting faster and faster, but the biggest thing, obviously I do a lot more in medical, and the biggest thing I would say in medical is that, you know, we have to be careful on the speed, right? We have to work in regulatory, we have to meet requirements and compliances. And so the regulatory body is really becoming more open to a lot of different repetitive approval processes that we need to have to make. And so that's a good thing. But it also does make speed to market a little bit more challenging, but it's the right thing to do. At the end of the day, we know that these are for patients and they have to be right. There's no room for error. In the power sports industry, the biggest thing that I'm seeing in that speed to market is really innovation. Streamline that's the part where it's gotten faster for them. In the power sports industry, the end user is not just looking for performance anymore. They're looking for personalization. They're looking for a brand experience. And that's where those customers need to focus. And so we kind of help them along those lines. Speed to market is the most common denominator in this industry and probably in most industries, right? Getting there is fast because if you don't get there, someone else will. And so our job is to help them do that within the guardrails and not around them.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen you encourage customers to hit timelines so that they can get their product launched and delivered on time. And
it's tricky, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And in the medical space too, to your point, I mean, that partnership comes into play when you are in a room with lots of engineers and basically determining together what changes we can assist with when, because they have, it's great to be in those rooms and realize like, hey, this is why these things are the different priorities. And we're going to make this submission with the FDA at this time. And we're prioritizing this one over that one. So we know where we can provide value and what to tackle first to really help them enhance their products.
Right. And that's exactly where that partnership really comes into play, being highly communicative, because obviously mistakes can be made and they do happen. But when you have that really streamlined communication and really good partnership, you really limit those errors. But I think you bring up a really good point about there are times where we have to say, okay, if we make that adjustment, that's what it's going to yield this in our timeline. And if you're okay with that, then we can do it. But having some of those harder conversations, because design changes come up, they get excited, but then they don't think about, oh, wait, our deliverable is here. And if we're going to make that change, it's going to mean that's going to change too. And as long as we are all on the same page and aligned, then good. But that's where that's where we help them stay on track as well.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, usually there's some sort of cost or improvement to the functionality of the product that we're getting pushed along faster. And that's definitely a big part of the value that we bring our customers is those solutions and then executing on those. Maybe sometimes faster than they're able to do on their own, or maybe would have shifted some of those priorities because we're able to do those things for them quickly.
Yeah, and I think that brings up another thing that I didn't mention earlier, but when we think about what we offer, we design, engineer, and manufacture. So when we work on new projects, we're really getting those teams together. So our engineering experts come in and support where needed. Our diverse and very deep supply chain, all of that helps in that. You're right. If we have a design change or a material change, we have to be cognizant of what that means and how it impacts the timeline, because it always does in some way, shape, or form. So
100%. So what are some other ways to, or things that you see as key when you're working through regulatory and quality type of issues?
It's a great question, because my personality is I get excited about new projects, and I get my engineer together, my designer together, and a project coordinator together, getting regulatory and quality involved on the front side of the project from the very beginning. A lot of times we bring them in when it's time to gain approval or for testing. And by that point, it's not that they can't do it, but it's just not effective that way. Sure. It's better that they're there from the beginning. And when we make them a partner, it makes for less surprises in the end or throughout the project, which then makes it smoother.
Right.
And lessens delay.
Yeah. I mean, there's times, right, where if you don't know that something needs to withstand this much pressure, then MOQs of a material could have been bought that don't withstand that amount. So those things are important up front.
Yep.
For sure.
Definitely matter. So if that would be one thing I would say is just get quality and regulatory involved at the beginning.
Yep. I think quality and regulatory would like hearing that.
They would appreciate it for sure. Yeah.
But then they come in and scare us and say we can't do anything.
That's true.
It's going to cost lots of, no, I'm just kidding. We love you, quality and regulatory. When it comes to innovation and creating new products, what's key in those areas in custom manufacturing when someone's coming to work with Polo?
So like advice that I would give, I would say for us, it's making sure that we're agile. I think that we put a lot into the end deliverable, which is important, but looking at our process. One of the things about being a smaller business is that we are custom and we are agile, but it really helps to have that at the beginning of the project all the way through. A lot of times, we focus on the end result, and sometimes things get muddied throughout the project life cycle. And so I think it's important to stay agile, always be ready. Things are going to change and we have to adapt. And I think that's one thing that we do really well.
No, and I think, when we have our engineers and our designers around the table that have just worked within our capability on so many different products that, they may offer something that might save on cost, or they might offer something that might save on functionality, or just design for manufacturability.
You took the words right out of my mouth, right? DFM is really important. And when you get the right people around the table, that's where we hash all of that out and brainstorm together to get the best end product.
So in the industries that you've worked with and the time that you've been at Polo, what are some of the most common misconceptions you've seen customers or potential customers come to Polo with?
The number one common misconception is that we are not affiliated with Ralph Lauren and we don't make Polo shirts. But other than that, I would say...
We had the name first.
Yes, that is true. But one thing I would say is that we... a lot of times a common misconception is that smaller company means reduced capabilities in some way, shape, or form. And that's just not the truth, right? We talked about agility. One of the things about being a small company is that there's less red tape for us to get through to make things happen. And so that's a huge plus. Another misconception is that when we're custom, it would translate to being more expensive. That's also not the case, right? So we work with a very deep supply chain team that will work with us to get the right material at the right price for our customers. And I would say another misconception might be that when we're a smaller company, we're not able to scale with larger OEMs. And we know that's not true because we've done that multiple times with some of the largest OEMs out there in the medical space and in the power sports industry. So we know we've done that. Because the reality is we are smaller, but we're agile. We can do the things that we need to do to make things happen for our customers quicker.
Right. Yep.
And so I think that's a huge benefit. And those are misconceptions that we need to constantly have those conversations.
Sure.
So
yeah, we kind of play in a weird space where we're maybe not the biggest player in custom manufacturing, but we're definitely not a mom and pop shop either. We have very sophisticated quality systems. We have very sophisticated leadership in all of our different domains and processes and ERP systems, all the things that you need to be a legitimate player within the industries that we serve. But we're not a large company. But what we do have is capacity.
Absolutely.
Domestic and internationally. But we are expanding right now and building a new, I think, 35,000 square feet of space in our Topeka facility. So we're expanding and we have the ability to hire more labor, which is something that a lot of manufacturers are struggling with right now. So I want to go back to your first misconception too, because locally in Topeka, I still get hit up for tchotchkes all the time. People want a hat or a shirt or something. And our company used to own sunflower marketing.
Yes,
so
yes.
that was a thing at one point in time. And so we still get associated with that. And so I love
Could
telling
be worse,
people.
I guess, right?
Yeah. I love telling people what we do because they're like, really? Oh, I had no idea. And it's like, we don't market to you.
Right. Exactly.
Topeka's not our customer base. So,
right.
So anyways, that's a fun dynamic. So Polo is a growing company. Where do you see us in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's so exciting. Number one, I plan to be a part of the 5 to 10 years. But I would say the biggest thing that I hope to see for us is to continue to be a strategic partner for our larger OEM customers. And a big part of that is ensuring that we continue to evolve, which we're doing every day. But I see more automation in our future. I see integrating data collection for our specific needs of our customers, streamlining more customization for all of our customers' needs. We're already doing that today, but I see more of that in the next 5 to 10 years. But I think automation is a big part of that as well.
Automation and robots. I'm half joking. I think we need more robots
and
at Polo.
agents.
Yeah, in the next 5 to 10 years, we're gonna have robots. So
yeah, look out!
You heard it here first.
That's funny.
I just can picture our COO like watching this and being like, "What?
What are they doing?
What are you talking about?" We haven't talked about robots and executive team yet, so
yeah.
But next time,
yeah,
there's always next month.
Yeah, and I also, AI is a big part of that as well.
Yeah,
incorporating AI, we're doing it now, but I see a lot more of that in the next 5 years.
AI in robots. I mean,
there you go. See, it's all
scary.
happening right here.
That's scary. I don't want any Terminator situations, but it's moving in that direction pretty fast.
Yes, it is.
I saw a robot in a local breakfast establishment, Hanover. Have you seen that?
Yes,
right?
Yes, I have. I was like, wow, Hanover's got a robot.
The only time I've seen it used was for a birthday. They brought like a birthday dessert out on the robot. So that was pretty sweet. I think it played Happy Birthday too.
Oh, that's impressive. Yeah. I did see a robot in action out in Seattle. It was at a Hot Pot restaurant.
Okay, sweet.
And it was delivering all the sauces.
Sweet.
It was kind of crazy. I was like, I'm not sure. I prefer human interaction, but it's all good. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, we can deliver webbings and cut patterns from cutting to, operations. So,
yeah.
So what's probably the most funny or memorable moment that you've had working through a challenging situation with a customer?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's only one that comes to mind, and I'll limit the specifics around it because I still work with her. But it was during the pandemic, and this customer, great customer, we're working on a challenging project, but it was during the pandemic where we were running into a lot of raw material issues, understandably. And, it was an unprecedented time for everyone, right? And so what I remember is that we were all on doing Zoom calls at the time, and then obviously started doing team calls after that. But this one was a Zoom call. And we had bad news that we had to deliver. And I was going to do it over the phone, but then I was like, we have a meeting, so we'll just go ahead and meet. And this was a time where on camera was required by everybody. So we were on camera. I joined, and she's got normally very professional. And I'm not saying she wasn't professional, but camera comes on. She's got a messy bun up in her head. Her little toddler sitting on her, because everyone was working from home in their makeshift offices, right?
For sure.
She's got her little toddler on her hip, and she's like, "Okay, you called this meeting. What's going on?" And I see like animals in the background doing things that shouldn't be happening, and I'm like, "What is even happening right now?" And so I was like nervous to tell her the bad news, but then I'm like looking at her, and I really couldn't take her seriously, but I had to.
Yeah.
And so I delivered the bad news as I was saying that, our timeline is going to be delayed, and it was not good. It was really not good. She looked at her daughter. She looked at me, and then her daughter just starts waving, and she's like, "Hey!" She's like 3, right? Yeah. I bust out laughing. My customer busts out laughing. But then she was angry, then laughing. And it was it was levity that I needed in that moment, right? Because it was really not a good situation.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, like I had a solution. It just wasn't going to meet the original timeline, but that was out of our control. It wasn't our raw material suppliers issue. But if there was a time that I ever think about, we're all real people. And if COVID taught us anything is that, we do the best we can, right? In the situations that we're in. And She and I still laugh about it today.
That's awesome.
And the product,
Yeah.
it launched. It was a little delayed, but as everything
Sure.
was,
Right.
but it's still successful today.
Yep.
So that's probably one of my most funniest moments. She sees it, she's going to figure it out, but we'll leave it like that.
It was generic enough.
Yeah. She's great. She's
Yeah.
great. Yep.
I was actually thinking about, and I wasn't sure if you were going to tell this one or not, but there was something about a Yoda quote where it was like something about try, and it was like,
There's no try.
There's no try.
There's only do.
Yeah.
Yes. That was another good story.
Do or do not.
There
or
is no
something.
try.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I got her the sign.
Yeah.
And she had never heard that one, which I was like, how do you not know that one?
Yeah.
But it's true, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
do or do not.
Right.
There is
right.
no try.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yoda knows.
Strong Yoda quote to end the Lynn Lemke episode here. So Lynn, thank you for all that you
Absolutely.
do for our customers and leading very successful long-term partnerships that I think benefit Polo, but fulfill Polo's mission as a company, which is to
Absolutely.
support the growth and success of our customers. You live that out on a daily basis, and we're grateful for your time today and sharing some of those stories with us.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here.